Want to buy Bitcoin with your IRA? Don't waste your time on expensive IRA custodians. A strategy called a QRP is as easy as writing a check. Find out how. Text 44222 and type QRP book. That's one word. And get a free book that explains everything. Again, that's 44222 QRP book. One word. It's the easiest way to make Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies part of your retirement. Welcome, everybody. This is Buck Joffrey with the Consensus Network weekly crypto news for November 14th, 2018. Here are the big news items of the day. First, Bitcoin bloodbath. Second, is Satoshi's vision causing the Bitcoin bloodbath? And finally, the SEC chief puts decentralized exchanges on notice. All of those stories and more when we come back here on Consensus Network Weekly Crypto News. Now, there isn't much more exciting than cryptocurrency, but there are old-fashioned ways of creating wealth outside of Wall Street that have been used by the wealthiest families in the world for generations. And that's what my other podcast is all about. It's called Wealth Formula Podcast. Now, if you've made a lot of money in crypto and don't know what to do next, this show might actually answer a lot of those questions too. Again, it's Wealth Formula Podcast with me, Buck Joffrey. Now back to the headlines. So today, the cryptocurrency market capitalization is $188 billion. That is down by about $20 billion from last week. The Bitcoin price on Coinbase as of this recording is $55.88. The first big story, of course, today is the Bitcoin bloodbath. Bitcoin prices fell by almost 10% today, all the way down to about 55.55 on Coinbase. Listeners of this podcast heard Tyler Jenks with Lucid Investments last week sort of make the call. At some point, using chart analysis, he indicated that there was a potential drop in the market. Well, I guess he was right in that. He also was talking about how some of the current milieu was causing instability that may trigger this. Now, Tyler also suggested Bitcoin prices could go a lot lower, around $1,000. And if that happens, well, I guess I'm pretty much ready to do anything Tyler tells me to do, but we'll see. The next story related to this is Satoshi's vision causing the bloodbath? So now, what could be causing this sell-off? The only real instability in the market at large right now, it's a big story. It's a pending hard fork of Bitcoin Cash, which is scheduled for tomorrow. Now, Bitcoin Cash itself was a hard fork of Bitcoin not long ago, led by, among others, Roger Ver, who was also known as Bitcoin Jesus, and Craig Wright, also known by some as Fake Satoshi, because Wright has claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto himself. Satoshi Nakamoto, of course, being the author of the Bitcoin white paper, although Wright has never offered any evidence to that effect. Now, Ver and Wright, before, of course, were allies in the whole Bitcoin Cash thing, and now there's another dispute of software on Bitcoin Cash, on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain itself. It essentially has to do with the size of blocks, making it easier to use, basically, for payments. Now, Ver is supporting a software upgrade called ABC, and Wright, a.k.a. Fake Satoshi, is supporting a software called Satoshi's Vision, or SV. That's why we called it. That's why I asked if Satoshi's Vision is causing this bloodbath. Now, this is a contentious fork. An email from Wright to Ver was circulating on crypto Twitter and showed the following excerpts from Fake Satoshi's email to Roger Ver, where he says, Bitcoin, of course, he considers Bitcoin Cash as Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash will die before ABC shits on it. I will see Bitcoin Cash trade at zero for a few years. Side with ABC. You hate Bitcoin Cash, that is. You are my enemy. You have no effing idea what that means. Wow. Talk about drama, right? I thought American politics had it kind of bad, but this is crazy. At any rate, this is, from my perspective, the only and the primary instability in the market right now. Nothing's really else has really changed. It's all sort of larger bullish institutional news left and right. And, as a result of this hard fork, a number of the platforms have frozen trading of Bitcoin Cash until the issues are resolved. I would have thought that, frankly, seeing that this is happening is a little surprising to me, because if you remember back to what happened with the instability with Tether being, of course, the U.S. dollar pegged token that could never prove that it was actually collateralized by U.S. dollars, there was some instability with that, and money fled directly into Bitcoin. And I kind of thought the same thing would happen. I thought with this hard fork that a lot of people would leave Bitcoin Cash for a safe harbor in Bitcoin. But who knows? Something's going on here that I don't understand. And if you understand it, if you have an idea what's going on that would make Bitcoin sell off like this, other than simply technical analysis vis-a-vis Tyler Jenks, I would really appreciate you getting back to me on that and telling me why. But fundamentally, my belief in Bitcoin itself has got me seeing this whole thing as a buying opportunity. Now, remember, at my core, I'm an investor, and I believe in blockchain, and I'm more and more a believer in Bitcoin every day. I would say that I'm definitely not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I'm definitely more in that direction than I was even 6 months ago. Now, if you believe that, if you believe in the fundamentals that Bitcoin stands for, and that this is something that is going to be very valuable in the next few years, I would direct you to a quote from Warren Buffett, who, by the way, hates Bitcoin, where he says, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." Well, there's a sell-off going on right now. A lot of people are fearful, and I am buying. I already bought it around $5,600 today, and if we start getting lower, if we start hitting close to $5,200, I'll buy again. Again, I'm not a trader. I don't know. To me, it's just based on value that I think I want to capture. If it drops down there and I volume average myself down. But my long-term view on Bitcoin is extremely bullish still. And so to me, it's just an opportunity to accumulate at a lower price. Now, I should point out that even though Tyler Jenks sort of called this sell-off, frankly, that he himself is a true believer in Bitcoin itself. If you recall going back and listening to the interview that I did with him last week, he says that he believes that Bitcoin will ultimately be worth $500,000. So, of course, who knows, right? But if you're willing to hold for a few years, it may be an asymmetric bet to buy now. So it's not financial advice for sure, but I will tell you that I think there's an argument to be made there. Now, the only other story I'm going to talk about, because the bloodbath and everything that's going on itself is sort of overriding everything else, is something that the SEC did. The SEC chief put the decentralized exchanges on notice. Last week, the Securities and Exchange Commission newly appointed cyber chief Robert Cohen basically announced that they filed a case against Zachary Coburn, who's the creator of Ether Delta, probably the most well-known decentralized exchange. So in case you don't know what a decentralized exchange is, basically they're exchanges without centralized operations. Instead, trades are executed on smart contracts on the blockchain, and there's basically no one working there. This just kind of happens. Cohen pointed out that using blockchain to create centralized trading platforms does not remove the responsibility of the creator, and he made it clear that a platform operating in the United States, whether it is decentralized or not, must be compliant, although it's not clear to me how the SEC plans to deal with anonymously created decentralized exchanges, which are essentially impossible to shut down, and you don't know who you're going to find. So that will be something we will follow. Anyway, the big news today, again, is the Bitcoin sell-off, and so I'm not going to try to tell you much else other than that. I'll keep a close eye on it. I'm on Twitter and crypto Twitter there. Follow Consensus Network on Twitter. Follow me there and get real-time updates. That is it for me this week on Consensus Network. weekly crypto news. We'll skip next week because of the holiday. This is Buck Joffrey signing off.